lighting, but there was something that happened. I was watching this live video earlier, and well, I was watching this video earlier, and it was somebody who I go to because, like I said, their message is affirming to me. But it raised a concern to me, and I think a lot of my work is around like healing the spectrum, like healing, like I feel like as a deeply melanated being, as a darker being, who is having this experience right now that closely relates me to the deep, the void, like feeling that connection in this embodiment. I feel like it's a responsibility of darkness, of that void, of that negative space, from which everything immerses and emerges from, to like be inspecting ourselves. And like when we inspect ourselves, then when we create light beings, or when we birth light, when we become a portal for light, that light won't be corrupted, because when we think of all of the violence that we're able to see manifest and see occur because of the light, the violence that has taken form, the violence that comes like a force, the violence that is animated by fire, the passion for it, the desire for it, the hunger for it. I want to, encourage us to inspect ourselves as beings that are a part of the deep melanation, sun absorbent beings. That's my prayer, because when we think about um, what justice looks like for the descendants of the American slaves, what justice looks like for black people who were treated like chattel, what justice looks like for black indigenous people. What does justice look like? What does reciprocity look like? What does reparations look like? What does collective healing look like? And how and how we are going to reflect that and embody that, and cultivate that space, and cultivate that energy, cultivate that frequency. uh, does it look like does it look like switching places? Does it look like being in a circle? Does it look like a hierarchy? Does it look like classism? Does it look like elitism? What does black indigenous people's healing look like? What does it feel like? How does it position them? And how are we going to treat everything that we created? Some things, they have to be, um, we use the word destroy and rebuild, but energy doesn't die, it's transferred. And so I think maybe moving away from the word destroy, moving away from terms like build and destroy, but rather to to birth and transcend, or maybe going back to ascend and descend, um, because the energy is just changing spaces. Like, are we destroying it, or are we recycling this energy? Are we this, like channeling this energy somewhere else? Like, are we destroying it, or are we like allowing it to exit the space that it is currently in to reside in another space? And I mean, I think that also depends on the animation of the entity. Like, if the entity is active, if the entity is moving, then that's definitely a different form of animation than an entity that is not moving. Like this candle. The flames are moving, but the candle itself is not moving. It's animated in a different way. And so just like trying to come into alignment with all of that, understanding that energy is not destroyed, it's just transferred. And so are we trying to destroy a facet of ourselves as human beings? Are we trying to destroy the lighter sides of ourselves? We trying to destroy the darker sides of ourselves? And so what we're seeking to do is transfer more of that dark matter into light matter, or transfer more of that light matter into dark matter. Like, is that what we're proposing? And I think it's important to like own where we are in consciousness. And so like I feel like we're this is a serious thing. Like, you hear a lot of rhetoric about melanin rising up and melanin reseating itself on this throne in the matrix. And so I just feel like we have a responsibility as elder energy, as elder vibrations, to really just inspect ourselves. And so that would be my prayer for this lighting of the candles. I want to acknowledge past, present, and future. I want to acknowledge beings of deep melanation, and beings who are pheomelanated, and beings who fall in the middle. I want to acknowledge the masculine and the feminine and what they birth. I want to acknowledge the maiden, the mother, and the crone. I want to acknowledge the Mada, which is the mother daddy, or the Dama, which is the daddy mama, the Pama, which is the papa mama. I want to acknowledge the elder Im, which is the divine force, and also the elder. And I want to acknowledge the Dawson, yes, which is the daughter's son. And so just acknowledging those different levels of energy, the elder energy, the divine elder energy, the the birthing state or the creation state energy, and that youthful energy, acknowledging what was, which would be our elder energy, acknowledging what is, which would be that time in which we are, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally still in that creative space, still in that productive phase. And also acknowledge that childlike stage, the beings who are coming, the beings who are the future, the beings who have sometimes physically arrived, but they have not mentally and emotionally arrived. And so we're always ascending and descending, and past values and past ideas are being braided into new ideas. And no one's saying that we have to forget them, but we have to understand that they're not meant to stand alone or to stand by themselves, but there's a cosmic braid that weaves different aspects of consciousness together, and we open our minds to hear from all of those spaces. A man, a woman. And so Yeah, that's what I got for this here, for this candle lighting. Down Benananda Kua keep spinning and turning, Iangani, Iyanko, Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you know you are, bound and round, both circle and square. We too speak life, so operations beware, sending healing to those in despair. El Babosawa. We come in peace, no harm to any. Lelim, Leler. Past, present, future. Love y'all. Later. Remember to click like, share, subscribe.